I've always loved fire. The beauty, the destruction. Dad always said, you gotta respect the flame. But I forged my own path. Sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. Sometimes that's not enough. People often say, I'm in a trance. Snap out of it. But I know what I am. Who I am. I am Firebird.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Forts Pro League Season 7 Grand Finals live stream, where today we're going to be showing you guys the final matches here and the deciders for who wins the Forts Pro League Season 7 in totality. As today we'll be starting off with the third place decider to figure out who takes third and who gets dropped to fourth place. If you guys missed our previous live streams, our previous content throughout the season, make sure to check back on the channel here, where you can see and follow everything along the way. Today's matchup will be for the bronze match between teams 6-7 Aura and Team Nut Power. Both teams gave us some wonderful matches in last week's showing, in last week's competition, and I'm looking forward to how this one goes forward. I know you guys loved Team Nut Power especially. There were some absolutely wild matches, and I'm looking forward to seeing even more wild activities. I do want to shout out that we are here on the Incursion YouTube channel are not the only ones broadcasting. You guys can check out other channels, including Infinity Power himself, who is broadcasting from his perspective. But we also have Salzwerk and Baumstende, both of which are broadcasting in the native German tongue, for those who want more Germanic sounds, narration for their Forts games. But make sure to check them out on Twitch. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the picks and bans for this upcoming match. These things are looking exciting. So first off, both Phantom and Architect are going to be banned. So I know you guys love that the Phantom Commander has all kinds of shenaniganery, but will not be happening here in the bronze match, nor will there be any high seas, as all high seas maps have been banned, so we'll be playing a strictly moonshot, just like all of the rest of the previous Forts Pro Leagues. We'll be starting off on Up and Down 2v2. Which will be a great time. One of my favorite maps, actually. I think it's one of the more favorite maps in general. Now, here's a question for 42 scientists. Do we have stats for the Forts Pro League generally this season?
Not for this season, unfortunately.
Okay, not for this season.
With the Firebird release, it took a bit too much time to do.
Understandable, yes. Because, as you guys may have known, the Firebird DLC, it released mid-Forts Pro League playoffs, which has brought a whole lot of hype and a whole lot of interest to Forts in general, as well as a whole lot of cool new toys, both to play with for in-game as well as to show off. Now, the Firebird DLC will not be included in the Forts Pro League tier today, so make sure to check back later when we'll be doing more Forts live streams, including the community matches where we can play around with all the new Firebird toys. But as I was saying, we'll be starting off on Up and Down 2v2, then moving on to Stalactites 2v2, then Vanilla 2v2. This is a best of 5, So we will be playing at least 3 matches. We already have sass happening behind the scenes here. The teams are selecting their commanders for the upcoming match, and one of them wants to select Fulminator, which is the new DLC commander. Classic. It's like, no DLC this time. It's been disabled. You can't have it. Oh, good lord. Why are they like this? It continues. Phantom AP miniguns. Good lord. Alright. 6-7 Aura versus Team Nut Power. We are ready to go. The players are ready, the match is made. I hope you guys are set up and happy because we are jumping into the action. Alrighty. What else do we have to set up here before starting? I think we're just good to start. The joys of everything being set up. Yes, for those wondering, you guys can use the bracket command in chat for those watching live to get access to this very bracket you see here on screen. But we are in the bronze match right now, Team 6-7 Aura versus Team Nut Power. After this best of 5, we'll be moving on to Team Jame Time versus Kazakhstanos to decide first and second place winners of the Forts Pro League. I believe that is a best of 7, not a best of 5.
The bronze match is a best of 5, and the finals will be best of 7.
Yes, correct. Alrighty then. Let's do this. And we're off, ladies and gentlemen. Round 1 of this best of 5 of the bronze match here at the end of the Forts Pro League. Here we have on the left hand side, it is Team 6-7 Aura playing as the Overdrive Commander. It's Alexander and Picksnips. We have Picksnips in the upper fort, Alexander in the lower fort. They're facing off against their opponents on the right hand side. It's Team Nut Power. Nutellafish and Infinity Power are playing as the Armoured Commander, where we have Nutellafish in the bottom fort and Infinity Power in the upper forts. We have snipers out for both sides, firing back and forth, and it looks like Team Nut Power wins the sniper duel. Of course, snipers aren't all that expensive. It can be replaced, and the sniper duel will recommence eventually. But we have seen these commanders many a time before. They are very popular and with good reason. Both of them are eco commanders, where 6-7 Aura focuses, or rather should I say the Overdrive commander, currently used by Team 6-7 Aura, focuses on upgrades and general income, just kind of powering through it, adding extra income speed to all of their resource collectors, and generally increases the speed of upgrades, making it quite the speedy path toward getting all of the money in the world. But on the other side, Team Nut Power is playing as the Armadillo Commander. Handles eco a little bit differently. Rather than getting direct economy boosts, instead has cheaper materials to work with in the beginning. So rather than having to spend all the money in the first place, they simply don't have to spend as much cash. And to double down on top of that, it is additionally cheaper to repair things, meaning that as the game goes on, as they're taking hits, as they're defending, the general upkeep around everything costs less. And that gives them extra money with which to work, which is kind of a big deal. Now, when it comes to this match in particular, unsurprisingly, both teams going with full eco options are quite content to just take things slow, focus on all of their economy. We see upgrades happening for everyone involved, and no one's really getting aggressive. No one's even pretending to get aggressive. We don't even see the token EMP. That was an AP sniper that somehow did not deal damage to Infinity Power's core. This man, wow, that was close. Close, but not quite. The sniper duel once again goes to Team Nut Power. Picksnips losing their sniper in the process. That was a beautiful shot too. It's such a tiny little door. If only, if only. Alrighty then. So now we are seeing which weapon choices each player is going for, and it's going to be a mirror match in terms of weapon compositions. Where on the left-hand side in the upper fort, it's cannons. The bottom fort is lasers, and it's a perfect mirror across the way, as we see Alexander placing a plasma beam. On the right-hand side, it's the bottom fort going for lasers, presumably also a plasma to start, and the upper fort is cannons. Now it's worth noting that that Infinity Power for the upper fort here has gone for an EMP, which is not a surprise. We've seen this time and time and time again. It just causes a bit of disruption. You can see it shutting down these. Turbines here, just delaying the opponent, just being a nuisance, not really causing any incredible amount of damage this time, but we've seen it time and time again where it does cause an incredible amount of damage. I'm going to take a brief pause here as Nutellafish of Team Nut Power has had a bit of a technical difficulty. By that I mean his game has crashed, so he's going to come rejoin it here. Nothing that can't be resolved in rapid succession. The joys of forts, it just works. Whenever something doesn't, you just bring them back in with no hiccups, no breaks. So far, it's been about 4.5 minutes into the match, and there hasn't been any real aggression or real activity. This is not a surprise given the teams, given the commander selections. Alrighty then, it looks like and we are off. Here comes the EMP, continuing its harassment tactics. Shotgun blasting away at turbines. We've seen the shotgun used aggressively like this a fair few times throughout the Forts Pro League, and many times even in the last playoff stream where we were going through the semifinals. We're talking like game-winning levels of damage out of the shotguns.
A couple times against Team Nut Power.
Yes, especially against Team Nut Power. For better or worse, Team Nut Power is aggressive to a fault. We've seen them explode to EMPs, to snipers, to things that typically don't deal damage to forts, have been completely eliminated by them. Just because they are quite literally so aggressive that they just kind of fall over and get blown over by the wind. But in exchange, they deal so much damage output that they've managed to make it this far. And it's well deserved because, frankly, the amount of damage output they can field is crazy.
This might be the most conservative build I've seen Infinity Power in the entire FPL.
Like, actually, though, like, it is actually somewhat conservative. Like, the amount of times we've seen them pick economic commanders and just get aggressive for it. It's like, yes, we're going to reveal that we're an economic commander. You know what that means? It's time for mortar rush, selling off every single piece of metal to slap just an extra little mortar shell on top of your core. And you know, if it works, it works. But first real shot fired by Team 6-7 Aura just slams into the armor of Nutellafish at the bottom fort here. Of course, Nutellafish does not care about this whatsoever. The amount of armor present on both forts is, or for everyone, is quite intense. And look, I mean, yes, look at this. 5 doors right here. And that's not even, he's adding more doors on everything. And I think the least armored actually goes to Pigsnips right now, which is a miracle given Infinity Powers on the other side of the team, on the other side of the board, but nevertheless. Laser on laser violence. The sniper duel has been replaced with laser dueling, which is a very classic duel. Infinity Power firing back, sending cannon shells across.
I very much like those howitzers coming online eventually, and how the plasmas look like they're taking all the attention, but the fire beams are probably going to be what decides this once those howitzers start firing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We even have Alexander down here providing a fire beam that can only shoot up explicitly for the purposes of covering fire. Like, that fire beam will never be aggressive. But it is going to be critical to their plans. Now, yes, Infinity with second cannon, but Team Nut Power doesn't have any real defenses against these howitzers beyond being thick, which is not a bad start, but they kind of are going to require shotguns. Yeah, okay, so we see them slapping down flak for shotguns here at the moment those howitzers are properly revealed. Infinity Power is going to start building howitzer catchers as the sniping from Team 6-7 Aura is clearing out machine gunners and anti-air all over the place to help get those howitzers across. As now we have 2 howitzers online for Team 6-7 Aura. Defended via cannon shells, which I think is an excellent idea in this case. Just stop the howitzers from hitting. Yeah, so the shotguns should be able to handle the howitzers now, and now those cannons can be returned to an aggressive posture. Classic. Getting the progress toward portal missiles. That fire beam, as much as it's not meant to be used aggressively, can just work as such. Slightly offensive fire beam, yes. Does actually take out one of the shotguns, clearing the skies for the howitzers to come across. Now the howitzers did just kind of miss of their own accord, so no requirement there. both teams going with the portal swarm positions now. Ooh, devastating. A drop shot, not even coming in from a weird angle, just kind of hitting the back of the hitbox of that howitzer, taking it out. That's going to slow them down quite a lot. Unfortunate. But at this point, Infinity Power is up to 3 cannons and getting set up for a 4th. The howitzer blowing open the armor, making way for the plasma beam to come in and get some actual damage done, taking out the shotgun. But honestly, the singular howitzer is just not going to be enough damage output. Team 6-7 Aura is just lacking in raw firepower. They're dangerous, especially those double plasmas right now, but they aren't really able to break through the armor and defenses present for Team Nut Power. And there's a door snipe. Alexander just kind of losing the sniper duel. Honestly, Team Nut Power's been on the spot with all their various duels, and now Pixnips just had his armor penetrated. He loses nearly every single one of his turbines to Infinity Power's cannons. That's intense. Yet another cannon is my favorite kind of cannon. Oof. And another door snipe. A risky door snipe at that, but he takes the shot and gets it. Alexander loses another plasma, taking internal damage along the way. And now the portal nukes are active for Team Nut Power. They're just Team Nut Power is just categorically ahead. The swarms try to body block for the nuke. It's not enough. There's way too much anti-air on the board for Team 6-7 Aura. The portal nukes do not make it across. And now it's their turn to return fire. Portal nukes fly. The fire beam stops the anti-air for Team Nut Power, which means the nuke gets across, but it is caught by a quick extrusion. They put out a bit of a catcher to catch the nuke, and catch it does, doing practically no damage to Team Nut Power. Two very different defensive styles, but both very effective. The nuke is ignited and lands. Not dealing critical damage, but shredding off the armor, enabling the plasma to cut deeper, but not deep enough to actually break anything of real importance. Just a nasty repair bill, as Team 6-7 Aura is going to be able to afford it. Not quite not even zeroing their bank. Firebeam covers, nuke ignites. Another huge hit. And again, the armor is penetrated. But again, Team 6-7 Aura's armor is so thick that they just can't break through. Unfortunately for Team 6-7 Aura, they cannot keep taking hits like that. As much as they're surviving it, they are losing layers of armor each time. They will not be able to sustain that kind of damage forever, but they do still have time on the clock to do something about it. We see them doing things about it, things like building additional weapons, firing back. We see Pixnips from the top fort has added in mortars and 2 additional cannons and is slamming Infinity Power with them all. The nuke makes it across once again. The fire beams, as we mentioned earlier, are playing a critical role in keeping the skies clear and allowing the heavier hitting explosives to get across the board. As standard cannon just blasts into Pixnip's fort. Telefish once again going for the door snipes. Telefish is just is in the zone for these door snipes today. It is.
I mean, the joys of the armadillo, Commander.
Oof. Alright, well, at this point, they are. It's an interesting position here because both teams are bristling with weapons. Team 6-7 Or has definitely taken more damage, although this is not one-sided. But at the rate things are going, Team 6-7 will not be able to sustain this forever. Like, they are the ones that are slowly falling apart here. Like, they're exchanging fire, but with each trade, it heads more and more to Team Nut Power's favor. Of course, all it takes is one door snipe to change that. All it takes is one breakthrough of the armor somewhere, anywhere, to change that. But at the moment, Team Nut Power is in a lead. Not a commanding lead, but a lead nonetheless. And here comes another volley of cannons. The armor's breached. Pigsnips in the top fort does not have any defenses around his cannons anymore. At least there's a hole in them. And the nuke misses. Yes. Why is it always the mortars that just deal damage consistently? Why is it always the mortars? Massive damage. There's a door snipe complete with a cannon drop. That's exactly the kind of thing that Team 6-7 Aura needed to do in order to really even the odds here. It's like, yes, that dealt a huge amount of damage. It knocked Infinity Power down to 82% and removed 2 cannons from the board. His Infinity Power is now struggling to repair things. He does have the money for it, but just like he's been doing to his opponents, it's going to cost him. And that's actually going to put it on a bit more even footing with Team 6-7 Aura here. Oh, another door snipe. Alexander knocked down to 57% and loses a plasma in the process. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, that was about even after Nut Power got door sniped here. But again, Team 6-7 Aura just got door sniped once again, and now it's even in a more rough position. And there it goes. What a way to go. Swarm missiles snaking around just up into the core and finishing it off, and it all comes crumbling down. Oh, it's so bad. It's so much damage. What remains of Infinity Power's cannons are still slamming into Pigsnip's base. Is now
That almost dragged Pigsnick's base down when he reconnected and it all crumbled.
It almost did, because it tried to bear the weight of Alexander's crumbling fort, and it held it, but it caused some serious wobble, and it did cause some internal explosions, but it almost broke his entire fort. But in the end, Pigsnips does manage to recover some of the tools, keeps the portal missiles, at least the launchers, as well as the mines, which is... Those are the two most important things, I think. Will he keep them forever? Probably not. Nut Power, there we go. Yeah, that's... I was going to say, Nutellafish is getting super aggressive with pushing into that. Nutellafish understands very well that he cannot let Pigsnips keep those active, and he does not let them exist. As we have shot for shot. At this point, I can already see the difference. It's just Team Nut Power is just firing anything they can, always, just to apply pressure, because they can, because they're dealing damage, because they know that they just need to pressure Pigsnips out of this round. Every second they let him live is another second which he can get a door snipe, which he can do something. And there's a door snipe. Massive damage. it all just disintegrates. Well done. Team Nutpower winning round 1 after a wild slugfest between them. Absolutely. I want to see the replay on that swarm missile kill, because that was nuts. All right. Just the penetration. I just tapped it with that door snipe too. Like, it just snakes up from below. And that's just a very missile thing to do. They just do that sometimes. Like, you have to defend the bottom. And the shot that eliminated it all. Look at the wobble on that fort. As just secondary explosions just ripple through and bring it all down. Very, very effective. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, give us a moment while we get it set up for round 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the players are ready. The match is made. We'll be jumping into the action here momentarily. Round 2 in this best of 5. And we are off to the races. Team 6-7 Aura versus Nutpower. Where here we have on the left-hand side, it's Team Nutpower playing as the Pinch Fist Commander. The sides have been swapped. As on the right-hand side, it is Team 6-7 Aura playing as the Armored Commander. Looks like
this is such an aggressive.
It is. I mean, look at the lean here. I mean, Nutella Fish is just shoving his core out of the fort. It's hilarious every time we see it. I feel like that's probably not intentional. I think that was a mistake. That's not the usual.
No, I'm pretty sure it is.
It is. Well, that's not the usual build pattern I see for a basin like this. That's a new to me
Also,
pattern.
they are not placing mines. I'm terrified.
Oh,
Oh
Oh no, this is purposeful. Oh, you can't do this. You can't
quadruple.
do
Oh, wow, let's
this.
go.
It's the quadruple swarm. I heard tale of the quad swarm rush. They were talking about it in lobby chat. That explains what's going on here. Oh no. Okay. So now we get to see this nonsense. Like, so here's the thing. Weapons generally, with rare exception, cost metal to fire. Meaning, Telefish, here with 4 swarm missiles, needs enough mines to afford the firing costs of these swarm missiles. I don't know if one mine can fuel this. But missile launch, we have 4 swarms as aggression has begun. Ooh, barely hanging on here. All of that armor shredded. Just Alexander tanking it to the front of his fort. Also, I do like the dangles they've got going on here. This just tricks the swarm missiles into flying further down to hit that weirder angle. Ooh! Penetration. Picksnips loses internals, loses their tech, loses the armor. Secondary explosions ripple throughout the fort, got knocked down to 85% and knocked back to the Dark Ages, losing all of his tech at the process. They just have to refire same position. Here come the missile launches. And huge hits, but not enough to break through. Oh dear. Now, I don't have very strong opinions on the 4 swarm missiles. Like, that's just not something I've seen in any competitive play. But this is truly wild. Yeah, Telefish could barely afford the metal cost of firing these missiles here. Here's the thing. Despite it all, they've not actually destroyed anyone or really that much of anything. We're seeing Team 6-7 Aura continue to expand, continue to progress. This man just sniped out important goods. Oh yeah, they're going for the mines now. This is what I want to see. Damage where they can. Any damage where they can. Do it.
I can't help but wonder if Infinity Power had gone forward instead of 3, along with your Telefish, if that one extra swarm might have been enough.
I don't know. I don't think so, because going 3 instead of 4 means that he has the ability to spend on things like buzzsaws, and the buzzsaws have been very effective. But I can't help but wonder. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Team Nut Power. This is a peak Nut Power behavior. Honestly, I think they just need to stick to one target and just keep doing it. Just keep blasting. Like, I understand that the other target's going to grow, they're going to fester and expand and become a game-winning threat. But I don't think they can afford to keep bouncing between targets here. I think they just have to pressure one out of the game. A beautiful door snipe.
Okay. If you want to treat this like a serious build and fully like try to get timings and stuff, I think you'd target the mines first, however tempting that core was.
Yes. Oof. And they are indeed keeping the fire onto Picksnips here. Your Telefish actually managing to get a bank up to a full metal store worth of economy. This man just has exposed batteries and exposed cores. Like, there's no defenses, no armor.
Alexander now has proper anti-air, so I think this is basically over.
I think so. They need to remove the anti-air before they can do anything else, which is going to be very difficult to do. That anti-air is going to be revealed. And just the triple swarm from Infinity Power is not going to do enough. Well then, this has been an interesting one. With the AP sniper for pick snips, I think Nutella Fish's lifespan is limited here. Yeah, the bait swarm's doing enough to keep most of it alive, but any swarm missiles destroyed here is devastating. Or any swarm missiles destroyed here is devastating for Team Nut Power. Holy smokes.
Yeah, Big Snips is just playing Team Tank at this point.
Yes, it's his only purpose in life. Yeah, there's not.
Yeah, they need to transition.
They need to transition or deal with the flak or something. Oh dear. Alexander has successfully placed the factory, which means heavy weapons are working their way there. We do see Nutella Fish and Nut Power focusing more on Alexander. But that's a full clear. The swarm missiles have been cleared. There's too much the buzzsaws are so good here.
I think Alexander has a legitimate chance to eliminate Nutella Fish if he fires all of his flak under the core.
Actually,
Definitely.
yes.
It is totally something I would try.
Swarms break through Alexander's defenses and defense grid, actually taking out some of the anti-air. But there's just so much more. Yes.
Also, did Infinity just add one more length to his drop thing?
Yes, he did. He did, in fact, add length here. It now goes even further down, which is hilarious.
I think he's even looking to do one more.
He is. Oh my god, he's adding even more length to it. Well, I mean, if you add enough length, then the swarm missiles just come from a position that is just functionally indefendable. Like these flak are just, they won't have an angle to deal with it.
He is solo
Especially
flanking
now that-
Alexander.
He is solo flanking Alexander, especially once the missiles or the nukes come online for Infinity Power, which Infinity Power doesn't have enough battery to fire all of it at once. But like, look how far down the swarm missiles go. The angle at which they attack is difficult to manage. Oh, Nutella Fish is in
Wow.
danger. Taking any amount of fire, even from an AP sniper or just a minigunner, is too much for Nutella Fish to handle. Look at that. The nukes
Oh, wow.
fly clean across without even being targeted. Just the angle from which they are coming is just well outside of the ability for Team 6-7 Aura to defend. They have to customize their defenses in order to handle that kind of angle. Missiles from the abyss. And they just make it. Huge hits. And now
This
it's
is quickly going
Pixnip's
to be
turn.
unsustainable damage.
It is. And now it's Pixnip's turn to add an anti-air, but I mean, he's only got one flak, which is capable of defending against Infinity Powers. Infinity Powers angle here. They're even chain firing to prevent consequences here. But as you said it perfectly. This is quickly going to become unsustainable damage. Like you can't keep taking hits like this. The only saving grace is that Alexander has successfully constructed a plasma. Nothing on Nut Power's team is capable of surviving this. The question is only, where does Alexander hit? And the answer is the core. Your Telefish goes down. And with it, a massive chunk of Nut Power's firepower. Alexander actually out of money, cannot repair, but still possesses the plasma. And should be able to fire it here. Where will he target? Oh, there's too much wobble. The battery and the internals are hit, but Infinity Power does not explode. His core, however, is so exposed that a sniper hits it. But now he's got the money to fire once again. And fire he shall, but where shall he hit? He wants that plasma gone. I don't blame him. Oh no, his dangle's been destroyed. That's not going to be good enough. With his dangle destroyed, the flak from Team 6-7 Aura will have a much better chance of getting rid of it. Clearing the skies. But the plasma's going to go through again. There's so many places. Oh, it's devastating. No more metal income for Infinity Power. The nukes are launched again, but at heavy costs. And surely this doesn't make it across. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Team 6-7 Aura has fully defended against Team Nut Power shenanigans. And there's nothing between Nut Power and 6-7 Aura's will to win this game. Or at least this round. I don't imagine a world in which it's theoretically possible for a nuke to just make it through and hit something. I mean, we saw a swarm missile last round end the game, but man, I mean, it made it through and it impacted things and it did actual like real damage, but it wasn't close to eliminating a player. Oh dear, oh my. Here come the EMPs, then we're gonna have the follow-up plasmas. You missed! You tried. There you go. Team 6-7 Aura wins round 2 in this best of 5. In spectacular fashion.
I absolutely would not have expected this match to go to the 15-minute mark after seeing 7 swarms placed that early.
Yeah, no, that was a great surprise to me. Alright. Just the opening volley of swarms punching through. That was so very close to just straight up eliminating the core right there. the sudden swing when the nukes come through. Yeah, that's good. Well then, that got exciting. Alrighty. So, give us a moment while I set up the next round. As we go into round 3 here in this best of 5, next map will be Vanilla 2v2. Wow, madness. Alright, the match is made. The players are ready. We are jumping into the next round here, and we're jumping into round 3 here in this best of 5. And we're off. Ladies and gentlemen, the sides have been swapped once again, as we're entering into a mirror match, as here we have on the left hand side it is Team 6-7 Aura. Now evening the scores after an absolutely wild last match, they're playing as the Overdrive Commander. Facing off against their opponents on the right hand side in the red forts, it's Team Nut Power. Also playing as the Overdrive Commander. Coming off of the back of a loss of last round, where they failed to attain victory with a legend, just like an absolutely all-in. It is... the amount of all-in involved could not be overstated. Like, it feels like they were so close to winning on so many different occasions, just different moments. Like, I'm thinking like the swarm missiles targeting the mines first probably would have done it. But then again, they chose to target the core, which would have been in a just direct elimination if possible. If like that happens most of the time. If the nukes had targeted top fort, I think, after they landed on bottom fort for the first time it cleared the anti-air, I think that probably would have done it. But also, bottom fort had been cracked and vulnerable to, and was vulnerable to additional nuking. I just genuinely don't... It was so close. It was so close. All right. Like, I'm just trying to, like, imagine, though. Imagine. It was so close to working. Surely there's something they could have done to make it work. Like, it was that close.
I think, as Ru mentioned, maybe aiming for the mines first would just cripple them enough that they can't repair next salvos.
I think that probably would have done it. Like, yeah, sure, they 6/7 aura defended their core, but the chances of them having that much armor around their mines at this stage with the missiles launched, I think they just would have broken through. Then again, swarm missiles are notorious for hitting everything except the intended target, and mines are not quite as big and vulnerable of a target as, well, the core is. Maybe the mines are just slammed into the walls instead. Infinity Power just slapping down a couple miniguns and leaving his core completely exposed, because why not? Classic Infinity Power behavior. Actually takes a couple of Pixnip's turbines, which is not a surprise. That will make up for the expenditure on Infinity Power's fort. Miniguns. Cheap, but not free. Has to get some damage done to make it worthwhile, and damage, I think, is probably made up for it. Now targeting Alexander's fort. And takes another turbine. He's actually getting some value here with these minigunners. But all the while, he's not expending on anything else, or rather, he's not expending on any other additional firepower, additional pressure. So Infinity Power is just casually scouring 6/7 aura of their exposed bits and spending his money on upgrades. Now, it's worth noting that Infinity Power literally has an exposed core and can be eliminated by anything right now, including basic snipers. But Team 6/7 aura has not done anything with that. We've seen it happen before where they just slap him with a shotgun and immediately end the game, but that doesn't seem to be the case right now. But we do see a couple of shotguns on the board. And Infinity Power loses a minigun and 2 turbines, which means he's basically just lost all the progress that he got along the way, which is unfortunate.
At least they have full eco.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is Team Nut Power is just ahead by a lot. They have full economy, at least full mine upgrades. Infinity Power and Nutellafish are a little bit behind in turbines, but not by much. They are
Nothing
ahead
that can't be
in,
fixed.
Yeah, nothing that can't be fixed, and they are notably ahead in weapon production. Like, yeah, sure, you know, Alexander handled the pressure a little bit better than Pixnips, and has a plasma on the board. But Nutellafish, his direct opponent, has a plasma and 2 fire beams on the board. Infinity Power has triple cannons placed. Pixnips has not yet placed his first cannon, although is about to place his first cannon. There it is. Team Nut Power is just categorically ahead in everything, except for layers of defenses. And even then, Team 6/7 aura is not that much further ahead in defenses. And they're about to not be further ahead at all in defenses once Team Nut Power opens fire with their massively superior firepower. And there it is. Alexander's losing his plasma. And is breached. Loses some internals, but holds his entire fort up despite it being very close to crumbling. Crunching on that stability tech to keep him alive. Well done, Nutellafish. Now it's Infinity Power's turn to commit cannon fire. What have you got lined up here? He's
Nutellafish
adding
with
some
the classic
defenses.
lightning beam defense.
Lightning beam defense. You know, it's true. He does have a lightning beam
Magna,
defense. I don't
ooh.
know why.
I guess to
Maybe he's
prevent
a
drop shots.
Drop shots of what? What are they gonna hit? Your turbines? I mean, I guess, but standard cannons blasting in front of Pixnip's fort. Looks like they're focusing fire to Pixnip's core, and Pixnips holds down to a single strut of armor left. It's a pretty deep digging. It's a nasty repair build, but he will be able to afford it as he replenishes it, almost all of it. Certainly enough to re-sustain such damage. But the Magna Beam from Nutellafish is coming online, which means we're about to see, in about 30 seconds, we're going to see a Magna Beam blast, presumably into Alexander's core here. Give him the old loop shot. Alexander with a beautifully placed energy shield.
Do it.
Do it. Alright, the cannons have come off cooldown. It is Magna Beam time. Does Alexander survive? Oh, ho, ho. Yes. But it was close. His core gets knocked down to 85%. Oh, directly to the mines. Doesn't quite land the... Oh, but a drop shot from on high. Infinity Power loses a cannon. But you know what that means. That means the Magna Beam's going to get another shot here. The cannons come off cooldown. Magna Beam will be momentarily. And then Alexander's going to have to survive another volley here. And I think he's not... Yeah, like he's not sufficiently defended to keep his core alive. That dug through the armor to the depth of Alexander's core, but not in the right spot. The Telefish and Infinity Power just didn't quite get the angle right. Shout out to the Metal Store defense, keeping your Telefish's Magna Beam intact. There's so many snipers. So many snipers. Just aimed at Nutellafish here. Oh,
no.
what a
The
way to
shield
lose
repair.
your... Yeah,
Oh,
the
no.
shield repair at the wrongest moment. No Magna Beam attempt this time. Oh dear, oh my. As we seem to just be kind of stabilizing here. Everyone's intact, everyone's alive. Pixnips definitely has the advantage in terms of the cannon stack, where Nutellafish has the advantage in the laser array. Both teams are just racing toward increased firepower. I'm not sure which team has the advantage overall. I think I'd credit Nut Power with being ahead, but kinda sorta not really. Team Nut Power not taking advantage of the Magna Beam, instead just trying to direct fire, just focus fire into Pixnip's weapon or just weapon stack, which I think is a decent choice. Ooh. A huge swell of damage here. Alexander getting the entire top of his fort shaved off by just a whole prism focus of laser fire. The fire beam defending the team from additional cannons. Do it. It doesn't quite line it up. There are so many cannons. Pixnips now has 4 cannons, and Infinity Power is doing a great job of defending against it. It's just... it's still expensive, and he has to be able to afford a 4th cannon in order to catch up. As all the cannons are reloading, Infinity Power now taking the brunt of the cannon fire. One more, do it, one more. No? No. He's rebuilding the doors. Double door snipe. The Telefish loses 2 lasers, 1 fire beam, 1 plasma. That's painful. Oh, dude. Picksnips just nearly got door sniped there. That was close. Now it's Infinity Power's turn to take some cannon shells. And take them he does. Expensive repairable, but one he can afford. Magna Beam. Ooh, that was close. The shot coiling down into Picksnip's innards. That takes out a metal store, I think? No, it takes out his cannon tech. Oh, that took out his cannon tech. That is a big snipe there. Oh my. Trying to defend with a turbine doesn't quite make it. The Telefish loses a fire beam in the process. So here comes another volley of cannons. Expensive repairable, but nothing they can't afford. Laser-wise, both Alexander and the Telefish are reconstructing their lost weaponry. You know, I like the addition of the fire beam onto the cannons there. It just adds a little bit extra damage to everything. At this point, Infinity Power,
I think it's like 25% more damage. It's quite good.
It is quite good. Oh, the burnout. Oh, what a way to go. That hurts. That would have been nasty as well if that had penetrated. Those sandbags saving Infinity Power right there. But as I was saying, if that had penetrated, that would have cut all the way through here and potentially just ripped off the entirety of the front of 6-7 Aura's base. Or should I say, of Alexander's fort. Alexander's selling off one of his mines. Huge hits on both sides. Uh-oh. Oh no, not like this. That's probably the real answer for what the top-down defenses were for. For when or if he gets door sniped, it can't capitalize on it. Of course, they capitalized on it anyways, so... Oh my. That leaves Infinity Power in a very rough position. Without his teammate to apply pressure, and without the Magna Beam to get the wraparound shots, it's just real intense. His only option is to dig through the front door, and that is a very difficult option to take. A very difficult option to take. Oof, not to mention the loss of the mines. The loss of the economy is big. Very big. Holy smokes. Now, Picksnips just has exposed EMPs and flak on front of his fort. those fire beams from Alexander in the lower fort are just shutting down infinity power here. There are so many blinking struts for Team 6-7 Aura. They've been pounded so hard. Things are just falling apart. Or should I say, on the cusp of falling apart. Infinity power has been breached, his armor penetrated. Now with 5 cannons slamming into him, his time is limited. He's got to do something, he's got to make some break somewhere, or he's simply going to fall under the withering firepower of a giant cannon stack. And now there's a howitzer in production. One more cannon. Actually doesn't penetrate, though the cannons are completely exposed. Infinity Power is selling off one of them in an attempt to prevent it. He doesn't manage to sell it. It gets destroyed. That's going to be loss of potential income here. But his cannons are still exposed, and there's 5 more cannons coming off cooldown right now. You see them. And Infinity Power's armor is breached. Somehow manages to hit like the one spot. There are no more spots that can take a hit. They are completely exposed with not even the tiniest of angles, not even the tiniest little strut of anything between them and any incoming firepower. And there it goes. The last of Infinity Power's cannons, as the unbridled firepower from Team 6-7 Aura brings this round to a close. Team 6-7 Aura wins round 2 in this best of 5. Alrighty then.
I have just checked a cannon going through a fire beam only increases the splash damage, but by 25% still.
Ah.
Which is still pretty good.
Yes. I mean, more damage is more damage. Cannons win off of general overall damage dealt as opposed to anything else. Alright, then give us a moment while we set up for the next round as we head into round 4 in this best of 3, or best of 5. There's some beautiful shots from that last round. I mean, just the digging. Oh, just like the fraction of a second with that shield's offline. And it snipes. It just snipes the technology. So much crumble. Beautiful. All of it is beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So what do you guys think? So which is your favorite team so far? I want to hear it from you guys. because the matches so far have been wild. I don't know. Personally, I like seeing the absolute nonsense that is Team Nut Power here.
Yeah, I like their audacity.
Audacity is the right word, I think. It is absolutely the right word. I mean, come on. What other players do you see literally leaving their core completely exposed? That's just for like 5 minutes until cannon o'clock. Like that's not normal. I don't know, I try getting away with that and I get punished immediately. Without hesitation. So going into the next map, which is 2v2 boonies. This is one where we've seen some pretty successful rocket rushes. I wouldn't be surprised to see a rocket rush come out of Nut Power here. There's actually a fair few shenanigans that can happen. Oh dear, oh my. So commander-wise, we've seen Overdrive played and won. We've seen, I guess, Pinchfist hasn't had a victory, so they could still use that one. Armadillo had a victory for both teams. They still have a lot of options available to them. I've been enjoying casting the Forts Pro League this season. It's very nice. What is it? Our last video that went up was the one. It was actually a 1v2 because there were some technical difficulties. That one was wild. Absolutely wild. All right. Nutella fish, you can't do this to me. Why are you like the Nutella fish? The lobby chat is too much. I thought the dad jokes were intense.
The intensity is intensifying.
It is. It doesn't stop. Unlimited. Has Pixnips returned? It's Alex. Yes, they have. Okay. Alright, so the players are ready. The match is made. I think we are good to go. Time's up. Let's do this. Infinity fish. Alright. And we're off to the races. Round 4 in this best of 5. As here we have on the left-hand side, it's Team Nutpower playing as the Scattershot Commander. As they're facing off against their opponents on the right-hand side, it's Team 6-7 Aura playing as the Spook Commander. Now, the Scattershot Commander doesn't have a whole lot of cheese options. About the only cheese-related thing is that the Buzzsaw gets an extra projectile, which is not that much of a cheese opportunity right there. So I don't know what the plan is for Team Nutpower. I understand that they're physically capable of doing non-cheese things, but I don't believe it for a second.
Motor Rush?
What are the
perhaps?
plans here? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen Nutpower choose a commander that only does one thing and then not do that thing. So, I don't know... I don't know what's... I'm just looking at them like, alright, it's gotta be something. They're not big on science. So I don't expect to see like a portal, a mortar accelerator or something, but it's gotta be something. It's always something.
Wait, maybe not. Maybe not this time.
Look, Infinity Power just threw down a munitions plant. Alright, so like, if it was anyone else, I would say, hey, man's not cheesing, but it's not anyone else, it's Infinity Power.
Where will he aim that single buzzsaw?
I think we're about to find out. Because I'm not seeing any other support weapons. Oh, he's just checking picks, he's just giving pick snips an honesty check here. He's saying, hey, did you sell off all your starting metal? Let's find out. The answer is no. No, we didn't. Unlike Infinity Power, who did. And also Nutellafish, who also did. But Team 6-7 Aura, their opponents are not checking for that kind of behavior. So they won't be punished for it. They do have an AP Sniper here, which can check them for other things, such as, but not limited to, Infinity Power having a Sniper, or having a core. Infinity Power's core is just exposed, so that's great. Also, this 20 mils exposed, was exposed, has been sold off because otherwise it's the worst. He's defended his... Oh my god, this man just sold the only metal around his core in an effort to defend his 20mm, while there's an AP sniper aiming at his core. It's not actually aiming at his core, it's ignoring his core for I don't know why reasons. Because his core is straight exposed right now. But again, I guess so is this mine. And the mine is taking hits, actually taking real damage there. Oh dear, oh my. One more shot? No.
It
The
only
mine is
takes
now
5
defended.
AP sniper shots to destroy one mine.
Yeah, and he was at 4, so like he could have destroyed that if he landed that shot, but he just decided to do something else, which is fair. But 20 mils coming out from Nutella Fish are going to blast Alexander's weapon platform. Unfortunately for Alexander, there is no weapon there to blast, so no real damage dealt, just a mild delay, as Pixnips has switching into a late rocket rush, which I think will hit infinity power really very hard.
Unless 20 mils shoot.
No, those rockets are exposed and destroyed. Only one remains, and it's currently EMP'd. That's gonna leave infinity power actually in an alright position. Team Nut Power as a whole has the commander ability active, meaning they can focus on a target. I believe the target they want to focus on will be Pixnips. And Pixnips is about to get blasted by 5 20mm shotguns.
It should be very lethal.
Yeah, that should actually just be lethal. At these ranges, there should be no... That should just be lethal here. Oh no, they're aiming for Alexander's weapons instead, and get nothing. Well, Team 671 understands the power of 20mm, and how to defeat them, and defeat them they do. This is interesting. I don't know how this is going to proceed. Like, yes, Nut Power has a substantial firepower advantage right now, but they're kind of struggling to get real damage dealt. Whereas on the other side, Team 6-7 Aura is just kind of prepared to tank the exact amount of damage that Team Nut Power is fielding. And all the while, they're expanding their own weaponry. At some point, they're just going to slap back in a way that Team Nut Power is not prepared to handle. Shotguns. Punching. But, oh, a huge hit. Alexander had a small gap in the shielding, and that caused a cannon to explode, taking with all of the other shields and most of the other cannons. Cannon explosions are very explosive. Who could have seen that one coming? Here come the 20mm, but now it's Pixnips. Oh, Pixnip isn't quite ready to return fire. I would love to see additional 20mm placed for Team Nut Power. So they have decent defenses around things. I think Infinity Power is actually going to be placing another 20 here. That's a howitzer. Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
it's going for a
I would
howitzer.
also have placed anything else than a 20, because they need to take care of the shield somehow.
Yes.
I mean, they could also just punch to the core. Looks like
That
they
is an
heard me.
option. Yes, and it worked. That you see, that's what I was expecting them to do in the first place, before Pigsnips got up the extra layers of armor. And this is exactly why, because I was expecting it to be lethal then. It wasn't lethal this time, but it like, I mean, you guys can see that Pigsnips is not going to be able to rebuild that in any foreseeable amount of time. Oh, jeez, it's just penetrating. His internals are exploding, it's rough. But now Alexander's cannon is online, does actually return some fire. That's gonna cool Nutella's, is gonna cool Nut Power's aggression just a little bit, but not enough to stop it.
Looks like Team Nut Power is preparing themselves in case of Howitzer playing.
Mm-hmm.
And also getting door sniped.
Oh my. The door snipes. Yeah, the door snipes are, I think, really the big. Oh, it's over. For everyone. Unsurprisingly, Pigsnips does not survive the next volley of a commander active ability from Team Nut Power, but Infinity Power just didn't have the defenses to tank the hits, and 6/7 Aura punches through, knocking him down. Now, unfortunately for Team Nut Power, this was not an even trade. As you guys could tell, Team 6/7 Aura still has a lot of surviving material from Pigsnip's fort, whereas Infinity Power lost everything. Yeah, Nutella Fish has reclaimed that position, but the only thing there to reclaim is a single mine, compared to Alexander reclaiming the position and obtaining multiple cannons, a row, like 2 rows worth of upgraded mines and existing upgraded turbines, and a fully functional array grid, like defensive grid. This is not looking good for Team Nut Power here. This is intense. So I'm curious as to what Nutella Fish is going to do about it. I mean, at this point, Nutella Fish, I mean, he's just got exposed 20s. 2 out of 3 of these 20s are exposed, and the third one's not very well defended. I mean, the third one is no longer defended. It is now exposed, owing to a cannon blowing the doors off of it. That 20 just deals so the 20s in general, but 20 shotgun just deals so much damage. Just the raw damage output is wild. Nutella Fish loses a 20 owing to just it taking a cannon to the face and not having any defenses around it. I don't see a realistic path to victory here for Team Nut Power, should I say Nutella Fish. It's like Alexander's core is just, it's not threatened. It's not threatened, it's not threatenable. Team 6-7 Aura has Alexander has more firepower, more defenses, more eco. By a huge amount. I appreciate the sniping. Oh dear, oh my. The buzzsaw is making sure that Nutellafish can't expand, not that he was really able to begin with. Oh dear. You know, I get excited every time I see that 20mm just start blasting. But realistically, Alexander just doesn't care that much about it. I would love to see some additional metal storages out of Alexander. As it looks like Team 6-7 Aura is probably going to do it. As there goes the final 20mm. And the final weapon for Nutellafish. Now we see the mortars coming into play.
I mean, they have to know how undefended the core is.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. Well, we see the art coming in. It is... That is a sign of concession. The surrender flag. And that will be it, ladies and gentlemen. As Team 6-7 Aura defeats Team Nut Power. 3-1. Well done. Team 6-7 Aura taking third place and knocking Infinity Power out of the top 3. That is an excellent match. Holy smokes. Team 6-7 Aura and Team Nut Power giving us some of the best matches that we have seen in Forts as of late. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here before jumping into the grand final, the decider between first and second place. So make sure to grab a snack, grab a drink, and get yourselves prepared because we're going to be jumping into a best of 7. So it's going to be a nice, long bit of forts and some of the best forts that we've seen so far. So I'll see you guys on the other side.
I've always loved fire. The beauty, the destruction. Dad always said, you gotta respect the flame. But I forged my own path. Sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. Sometimes that's not enough. People often say, I'm in a trance. Snap out of it. But I know what I am. Who I am. I am Firebird.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to the Forts Pro League Season 7 Grand Finals, where we are showing off the final match here for this season. It is Jame Time versus Kazakhstanos fighting it out for first and second place. I hope you guys are excited because I certainly am. Let's go ahead and bring us over to the picks and bans. For this final, both Phantom and Spook will be banned, so we will not be seeing any of the moving around super cheese shenanigans, nor will we be seeing the thievery of Spook. We'll be starting the first match on Stalactites 2 versus 2. What's more, we will be seeing high seas here in the Grand Finals. For the third match, high seas will be enabled, and with it, all kinds of chicanery. But that is for the future. For the now, the players are ready and the match is made. We can jump right into the activity, right into the action, and right into the round. Jame Time versus Kazakhstanos. And we're off to a mirror match, where here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Jame Time, playing as the Armadillo Commander. They're playing against their opponents on the right-hand side, it is Team Kazakhstanos, also playing as the Armadillo Commander. This man already self-destructed one of his turbines. Unfortunate. With both teams opening with the Armadillo Commander, we could expect to see a rather slow start to these matches. Both of these commanders specialize in late game play, and with it, kind of a slow everything. That does mean that I realistically expect these teams to just kind of have a gentleman's agreement. Basically not to do any real damage to each other. Or for the first like 6 minutes or so of the game. We'll see how that actually holds up.
Well, there's already
like
7 fewer
seeing
swarms than the last time we saw this map.
That is true. That's a lot fewer swarms than last time we saw this map. But I was about to say that I like seeing the turbines here. There's a couple teams that do this. I think it's the Russian teams that do this. exclusively, where they'll set turbines in the positions in front of the mines and then defend them with the bracings here. This is something that, I mean, I've seen before. I know it could be done. It's just something that I don't actually see players do outside of Kazakhstanos. So maybe just because they've made it this far in the Forts Pro League that it might suddenly become a more popular thing to do. I'm certainly probably should spend the time practicing it just to see how I like it. To get a feel for it.
I mean, I imagine as long as you have the muscle memory, it consistent much APM. Inside the first minute or so, you don't really need much APM anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's... There's no real downside to it. I mean, I guess the downsides are you don't want turbines there long term, so building them there is always going to be an expense.
Yeah.
Also,
it's already being sold.
It's not. Yeah, it's already being sold. Also, it's not free. This man just AP sniped a core across the map, which happens sometimes. There's AP snipers on both sides. Julian down here loses 30% off of his core, knocking him down to 70%. But the sniping got a little sassy. Nothing incredible. Now, the EMP does exist. I don't think that counts as... I don't think a single EMP counts as breaking the gentleman's agreement. Though, maybe in spirit.
When you talk about optimizing, Dimred just now placed 2 braces. He didn't even drag. He put 2, so he wouldn't have to cross brace it.
I mean... yeah. And that helps against the EMP, because the EMP won't break a single shred of wood. And it reduces the splash damage as well as keeps the EMP effect away from the internals. Comes highly recommended. But yes, we are back to the kind of slow progression that we would expect from a matchup such as this. It's worth noting that the players are just kind of going about their business. We have Julian going for double plasma. On the other side, we have Mega Red also going for the plasmas. In the upper forts, Dimmer Red going double howitzer. Against Nils also going for the howitzers. So this is a mirror match right and proper, with mildly different implementations of each, but victory for these players is absolutely going to come down to execution rather than anything else. The EMP is just annoying, but Dimmered does set up a pair of trenched shotguns. Nils has a shotgun available and is working on his second one. Dimmered's first howitzer is complete, while Nils is still under construction. Nils actually reconstructing an AP sniper. I don't know what benefit that's going to have at the moment, but snipers rarely benefit from obvious issues so much as capitalize on ones that are exposed over time. First plasma's fired at 7.5 minutes and the gloves are off. It's time for damage output. One shotgun is shut down, the snipers are opening fire everywhere, taking out exposed machine gunners and anti-air generally with the explicit purpose of disabling and clearing the skies for the howitzers to fly across. And shotgun clears the first howitzer shell. Howitzers. The anti-air for game time for Nils is just not there. All the anti-air is manual and it just isn't used. Double howitzer crashes into Nils' armor, and surprisingly Nils is able to tank it, but that's unacceptable damage. You can't let that happen. And the extra AP sniper punches through, taking out Nils' shotgun, leaving Nils vulnerable. No more anti-air. Dimmered's next volley of howitzers will punch clean through. And punch through they almost do. Actually taken out by the EMP, and wow.
Very clean cut, wow.
A very clean slice. Julian just punching all the way through Mega Red's base, ripping it off of its foundations and eliminating Mega Red. I haven't seen that elimination in a very long time.
This reminds me
Can't
of
wait to see that in
2019.
a replay. It really does. It has been a long time, but it's popular for a reason. Or rather, it's well known for a reason, because it works. It's very good.
This EMP has been better than shotguns at anti-air.
It has been, which is not usually how that works, but you know, if it works, it works. Oh. Honestly, the AP sniper from Dimmered has been incredibly effective. The empowered AP sniper punching through 2 armored doors is it's kind of really good. It's taking Nils off guard consistently and consistently breaking his shotguns, leaving him vulnerable to the howitzer shells. The big issue for Dimmered right now is that there are 2 enemy players on the board, and one of them has laser beams, which is going to hit from some weird angles, and it's going to be incredibly painful. And that's why. It just shuts down one of the shotguns, and with one of the shotguns out of action, that means the second howitzer for Nils is just going to punch clean through. Honestly, Nils, I think, needs a warm-up round or two. It hasn't been on the spot with the anti-air. Too many of those howitzer shells for Dimmered are getting through when they really shouldn't. But he's still got enough armor, the muscle memory's kicking in, the build orders are keeping him intact. Or at least keeping him in this game. And now with Julian from below, coming in with additional weaponry, Dimmered's kind of struggling here, which is not a surprise. That's really how you would expect that to go. And now both teams using EMPs to deflect howitzer, defend against howitzer projectiles. The big issue for Kazakhstan right now, interestingly enough, I think isn't the howitzers, but there's about to be triple rocket coming in from below. There's no angle on anti-air to deal with it. There's no real method he has easily available to him to defend against the rockets. And those rockets are just going to keep blasting. They're not going to stop blasting. Money to defend against them, to repair them, repair the damage they deal. So you have to just stop it. You have to stop it, and you have to stop it immediately. You'd have to do it without expending additional money. Generally requires a teammate to do that, because that's kind of a hard bar to cross. But if you have weapons, you can theoretically knock them out, knock out those rockets before they run you over. But Dimmered no longer has that as an option, and now there's incoming firepower, and a lot of it. As the rockets shred every last piece of hope, and down he goes. Well played, Team Game Time wins round 1 in this best of 7. In quite explosive fashion. Alrighty then. I want to see the replays, especially on that first shot, that first plasma slice. It just cuts all the way through and zippers the fort. Beautiful. It's just shredding everything. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's real good. Alright, give us a moment here while we set up the next round. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the players are ready and the match is made. Next map will be on Snow Leopards. The countdown has begun. And we're off. Ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 in this best of 7. It's another mirror match, as it's the Architect Commander on both sides. The sides have been swapped, so Team Kazakh Thanos is now here on the left-hand side with Game Time on the right, but the commanders are the same, but different, but still the same. Now instead of it being an Armadillo matchup, it is now an Architect matchup. Kind of a different flavor of Eco Commander. A bit more tech switch focused than pure defense focused, but still fairly heavy on the economy bonuses anyways. Not quite as effective in economy as Armadillo, but I personally prefer it.
I'm just kind of admiring Nil's back turbine there and just how almost perfect it is.
It is. It's very flat too, which is kind of impressive.
Yeah, you can see these players, they always angle their turbine platform so that the backlean just perfectly matches the horizontal lines.
Mm-hmm.
Always
And
very
they do it
satisfying.
well. Oh dear, oh my. Just the constant sniping is so annoying. Dimmered having to constantly repair that turbine. It's really not that much of a repair bill, but it causes psychological damage, which is always relevant. Nils opening with an upgrade center before anything else, which is not a surprise. One of the joys of the Architect Commander is the bonus build speed during Commander active lets you catch up with your build order when things get tense. So it is fairly typical to have the players open with something like the upgrade center before doing main tech tree growth, just because if they fall behind, they'll eventually catch up. Once again, I'm liking the shotgun plays. It's not that much, but it's something. And that something does damage. And shotguns are just usually always useful. Oof. Double shotgun coming in from Julian. Slamming Dimmered's energy production, kind of getting rid of most of it. Not a surprise. The team's doing notable damage to each other to the point where they've nearly charged up each other's commander abilities. And honestly, if one team manages to charge up the commander ability, and the other one doesn't, that's a pretty big boost there. Oh. Those shotguns from Julian have been devastating. Like, yeah, Mega Red tried to do the same thing to Nils, but it just wasn't the same. See, Buzzsaw's checking for honesty. Oh, and they take the mines out. Oh no. You can't have mines exposed like that. That is so much damage. Those shotguns have gotten so much value. And he just sells them off. Why does he sell them off? Because it's time for plasmas. And the plasma he has placed. Nils is gonna float, isn't he? No, he's rapid expanding his defenses to prevent the float. But both teams do have their commander ability available. With the commander ability available, they can use it to spam out weaponry. I think Team Jametime needs to wait for Nils to get a cannon placed before... Oh, he's going howitzer, not cannon. Whereas Kazakhstan on here, both players need to place a weapon before activating. Both players will be placing a weapon here shortly. We have a howitzer out of Mega Red on top. And it's going to be a standard cannon out of Dimmer Red on bottom, maybe? He hasn't decided yet. But commander active ability has been initiated for Team Jametime. Rapid constructing the plasma, the fire beam, the flak, the anti-air, the snipers, and the howitzer all at the same time. Despite the players going upgrade center first and taking many detours along the way, it's not even 7 minutes on the clock yet, and they are fully powered and ready to fire their heavy weapons. I'm going to see where they target first, as Kazakhstanos Dimred hasn't even placed a cannon yet, which is going to bite them, because if they don't have a cannon placed when they start taking fire, then there's nothing stopping. There's no clock, no pressure for Jametime. And that is not the world you want to live in. As we see doors opening for Team Game Time, they're, I think, likely discussing who they want to annihilate first. It's now 7.5 minutes on the clock, and everyone's focusing on defenses and continuing to expand, despite Game Time having substantial firepower at the tip of their fingers. First howitzer flies. They're splitting their damage. Just looking to hit weapons platforms wherever they could find them. Oh dear, oh my.
I'm really surprised that Kazakh decided to upgrade their mines right before using the actor there instead of placing weapons.
Yeah, I'm really surprised about that. But you know, they're playing it careful, and that's okay. And double howitzer does a lot of damage. We immediately see Julian up top selling off lasers after lasers, just making them go away. He's like saying, hey, I'm dealing with double howitzer up here. I've got to change this tactic. No longer has any plasmas, sold them all off in exchange for shotgun, and we'll see what else he's going for. He rebuilds a plasma somewhere else. One howitzer's knocked out of the sky. That is the benefit of Architects. When the opponent hits you with things like that, you can just kind of tech switch immediately, replacing things elsewhere. It's very effective. Nils' double howitzer slams in the dimmer red down here, nearly separating him from his lower expansion. It's gonna be some nasty deforming to have to repair off of that one. One shotgun takes out a howitzer, and the other one still sunders. It's so much. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nope. Second howitzer doesn't make it. Oh, his base almost crumbles. He actually catches it here. This red strut up here, an indicator that despite it being a 4 long, is taking an incredible amount of weight. Julian can't let that disconnect anymore. If that disconnects again, there's a very, very big chance the entire fort just crumbles and falls. Unfortunate. Oh, they found a weakness. Fire beam exposed and taken. If that howitzer makes it, okay. I say, if that second howitzer makes it across, I think we just see both players eliminated here. This fire is spreading. Okay. Oh no. Oh, and the fog. The smoke launcher. Reigniting all the flames. Getting the real Firebird experience. Oh dear, oh my. We now see plasmas coming out from everyone on Team Game Time. Which is an interesting idea. They're definitely using the plasmas and laser weaponry to keep the howitzers going. So they could try to get the howitzers to impact. Not quite perfectly timed with the fire beam. Would have enabled a second howitzer impact, which would have been devastating.
I am just really impressed how Kazakhstanos is hanging in there because Dimred has basically just been losing everything every few rounds. His turbines and all his weaponry. Like, all this is on the back of basically 2 howitzers.
Yes. Like, unironically, like, Dimred here is doing a wonderful job of just playing team tank because he is tanking an incredible amount of firepower and staying alive. Whereas his teammate Mega Red is trying to deal damage and has dealt some damage, but honestly, Game Time just doesn't really care that much about the damage that they've taken. They've handled it well. They've even rebalanced their fort to get rid of so much of the blinking red struts. And at this point, they've taken to dealing incredible amounts of damage. Once again, Dimred loses a cannon, and his foundation nodes, and his mines, and is still hanging in by some miracle. Just buying time for his teammate, and his teammate is in fact doing things. Like, his teammate's doing a good job, it's just not quite enough. Team Game Time is just not going down.
Yeah, and Team Game Time is they have exposed AA is what they have.
Yes.
I should explain with you. The oh, there it goes.
Oh, there it goes. That's the shot they were looking for.
I was sorry to be interrupted there, but exposed AA is just sort of like a sign that you have full map control.
Yes, yes. And it's a lot. It's kind of a big deal. And for a while, both teams there had exposed AA because there was just so much going on that they weren't able to keep up with it all. But oh my god, it just disintegrates. Did you see that? The fort just disintegrated. The whole thing just gone.
Gone, reduced to atoms.
The power of double howitzer.
Shrapnel left over.
Double howitzer offensively, double howitzer exploding in your base, just the howitzers themselves.
Oof. Well, that got exciting. I want to see the replay on that one. Look at that. The howitzer just punching. The howitzers just keep punching. Look how fast they reconstruct the wood every time. That's what's keeping them alive. Architect, one of the better economic commanders, great at defending. But it just zippers, just too much pressure, pulling the fort apart. Just, oh ho ho ho. And it's all gone. Well then. Well, that was wild. Team Game Time wins the second round, bringing the scores up to 2-0 in this best of 7. Next map will be on Fort Falls, which is a high seas map, and therefore the high seas DLC will be enabled, so we might get to see some DLC shenaniganery. Which I'm looking forward to. I swear, if these guys pull out the horizontal orbital strat, which I know they know how to do, I've seen them do it before, that would be a wild strat to bring out here in the finals of the Forts Pro League. But now we're off to round 3 in this best of 7. I hope you guys are ready, because I am so ready. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are off to the races. Where here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Jame Time, now up 2-0 over their opponents. Playing as the Overdrive commander. Oh dear, oh my. Julian and Nils up 2-0 in this best of 7. They're looking to make it 3-0 in a step towards a clean sweep. They're facing off against their opponents on the right-hand side. It's Team Kazakhstanos, playing as the Hurricane Commander. I like the Hurricane Commander, especially in high seas. It's very good.
Yes, many planes go whoosh.
Many planes do indeed go whoosh.
What is this? What is the purpose of this?
You're not Shakana.
That's a good question. They are in fact not Shakana. So they're connecting this for the purposes of... So what we're referring to is on the left-hand side here. Julian and Nils have connected their forts to each other via rope. I'm still not sure what the plan is with that.
Is that giving access to water-based devices?
Oh my god. It is.
Oh, smokestacks.
I did not. It is connecting. I didn't know that's how that works. I thought you had to have physical control. Julian has access to smokestacks despite not being a boat, because he has roped to a boat. Oh, if that's how that works, that makes it so much easier. Oh my god, I'm going to be abusing that so much.
Very OP back turbine setup.
Yes. To think all those hanging forts, you could just like throw a disconnected chunk of wood at the water and it counts. Or maybe it has to be connected. Maybe, I don't know how that works.
I think it's the rope
I've
connection.
tried so many things. It might be a rope connection to a living fort that might do it. I'm going to have to experiment with this. I'm going to have to ask them about this too, because this is big. This is very big. The most powerful rear turbine setup we've ever seen. That gives a substantial economic power investment to Team Jame Time. You'll love to see it. Like, this is new to me. I've never seen this before, and I'm super into it. Okay. Well, we do have Nils going for deck gun spam down here, which almost surprising. Mega Red, the same thing. The only surprise to me then is that there is now a howitzer, double howitzer on top of it. Oh my god. But otherwise, the teams are going for very similar builds. We have deck guns for both of the boats, and lasers for both of the upper forts. I'm gonna be honest, if I'm Team Kazakhstanos and I see what they've done here with this, I'm immediately copying it mid-match. It's not that hard to do. And that is a really easy setup to do. Requires some coordination, but these players are well past any skill needed to do that. Like, they've passed the skill check just by default. That is such a good setup. It is absolutely an amazing setup.
Going to spark a lot of copycats, and they will instantly proliferate if I have no idea if this is like out there already in the world and known.
I've not seen this before. I've not seen this at all.
This is a green leaf tier strategy.
You know, I like that description. I like that description a lot.
I just have to say, like, something I absolutely love about forts is just learning new things all the time, and how we can spend the last 5 minutes basically geeking out about someone building some turbines and making a rope.
I don't... The EMP just into the water. Oh, but it's a lot of damage. Using the deck gun to defend against it. Howitzers, incredibly damaging, but also much faster to field than deck guns. Deck guns are quite slow, and with that EMP landing shutting down the deck guns overall, that shotgun just saved Nils. Looks like Nils is going to have to sell off one of the deck guns in order to keep himself afloat here, quite literally. And it lands. Mega Red takes a pretty nasty chunk of deformation, but you will survive. Ooh, the fire beam, however, and the laser follow-up, it's massive damage. Mega Red loses just about everything. He keeps his deck gun for the moment, but there's not much left in the way of defenses there. If Jame Time has no available weaponry to fire, it's going to give Mega Red a brief opportunity to reconstruct defenses, as the shotguns are coming in clutch here. And that opportunity is ending as the lasers for Julian are coming off cooldown again. That should destroy and see the end of Mega Red's... No, he's a swing and a miss. Doesn't break anything of critical importance. As Mega Red's just struggling to fund this. Needs to be defended by Dimmered's smoke here. Just to keep his fort alive.
Those deck guns make me kind of nervous because they are being hit by the fire beams, and while they're upgrading, they can't be repaired.
Yes.
Looks like he's extended his defenses enough to block that.
It seems to be working for the moment. Mega Red actually starts to reconstruct himself here and will be able to pull himself together, despite the incredible amount of damage he's taken here. As Nils is reconstructing the deck guns. And now it is time for more unleashing of firepower. As we see... Oh, blowing off his own doors. But at least a little bit of damage gets on the Mega Red's fort. As door snipe happens, Julian loses a fire beam, but the damage he sustains is nowhere near the damage Mega Red has just taken, knocking him down to being a tiny little skiff of a fort once again.
I know we're not playing Firebird. I know this. But is anyone else experiencing anxiety seeing those exposed smokes?
No.
Icarus, you're such a
We will
bully.
be playing Firebird later. Yes. And so is Nils and Julian, just bullying Mega Red into a corner, leaving him with no weapons. Mega Red does actually still have a little bit of defensive shielding, and has kept most of his economy intact. He's just kind of completely defanged, and still has his heavy weapons tech. So, if he's left alone, will return. Okay. The smoke defending against Dimmered's lasers, as the deck cannons are doing a lot of damage. Just kind of a lot of damage. Boom. I do like the idea of Team Jame Time switching focus up to the upper fort, up to Dimmer Red there. Like, Mega Red, as much as he's going to be a threat in like a minute and a half, is not a threat right now, and can do really nothing to prevent all of that damage going to Dimmer Red and knocking Dimmer Red down several picks. And looks like they're going to continue focusing on Mega Red here. Trying to knock him out entirely. Which, that too, is not a bad idea. A door snipe, which I don't know if does it count as a door snipe if it wasn't really defended to begin with. I mean,
yeah, it was not even built.
Yeah. It is it only had one door, so problem solved. As they continue to, both teams just continue to expand. Like, yes, Mega Red keeps getting reset. Oh!
That is
And
quite
he's
a hard
gone.
reset.
That is a very hard reset. Hey, look, Dimmer Red got access to the boat stuff now.
Ooh, making
Now
a
he can
salt bridge.
replace, yeah. Now he could replace some of those turbines with smokestacks. Oof.
Oh, wow.
Laser penetration actually getting all the way through to Julian's mines. It's not the world Julian wants to live in, but he's got enough banked up to recover from it quite quickly. As now his teammate Nils is going to start blasting Dimmer Red with incredible amounts of firepower. If you thought howitzers were deadly, full stacked deck guns outclass them by a pretty chunky amount. Oh, is that it? It is. The whole fort crunches, and Jame Time wins round 3 in this best of 7, bringing them up 3-0 over their opponents. We might see a clean sweep here. Let's see some of those crunchy replays. Went from having good firepower to simply exploding. That gun deals so much damage. I like seeing this slow crunch, the ripple of stresses just bouncing back and forth within the fort until it all just crunches. It looks like we are good to go into round 4 here, which will be on Boonies 2 versus 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We are off to the races once more. Now, what do we have here? So we do see scatter shot chosen for Team Game Time. That means you could realistically expect some 20mm from them. Whereas on the other side, and left-hand side, Kazakhstanos is playing the Architect Commander. We've seen it played very well, very effectively, and comes highly recommended. I'm expecting to see a lot of economic plays from Team Kazakhstanos here. But more importantly, the score is 3-0 with Game Time in the lead and on match point. The moment that Game Time wins one more round is the moment that they are victorious and take first place in Season 7 of the Forts Pro League.
About his career.
Actually, though, I wonder if we're going to see a clean sweep here. I did not expect a clean sweep from these two teams, and I'm kind of surprised that we're getting even close to it. Like, the matches so far have been... they've not been one-sided. They've been close back and forths. Like, these are not exactly situations where Team Game Time is just winning every back and forth, every engagement. Like, these are matches that go long, they are risky, there's good damage back and forth, and it's just Game Time has consistently achieved victory. Given that Team Game Time is scattershot, they are going to be aggressive at a kind of 7 to 8 minute time frame. We are seeing both teams here go for some substantial amount of buzzsaws, so we're going to have a bit of an honesty check here. And Julian has not been very honest. So we may see a problem. No, he's getting doors now. He's still not being very honest, but that might come back to haunt him. He's not completely defenseless against this. Oh dear. Almost hits the shot that would eliminate Julian, but that shot is practically unhittable. Ooh. A brief disconnection. With an AP sniper from below, takes out one of Julian's buzzsaws. Looks like he's gonna try hitting Dimmered's turbine, try to bring it down. Doesn't quite land the shot, but it was close. We'll have another opportunity. Unless Dimmered sells it. Maybe not. But everyone else is going up to heavy weapons tech. Should I say everyone period is going up to heavy weapons tech. And it's all cannons all day. From Team Game Time, this is not a surprise whatsoever, given that they're the scatter shots commander, and the scatter shot comes in power 20mm, and I can expect nothing but in power 20mm for it. Whereas on the other side over here, Team Kazakhstanos is also going all cannons all day. And they have a bit more of the options, as the Architect Commander doesn't make good Doesn't empower any weapon in particular, so it just makes it easier to get all of them. So we can see a smattering, a wide variety of weaponry. Looks like we have standard cannons and howitzers, which is, I think, the most probable choice. Howitzers in lower position here are just the premium choice of weapon. Whereas cannons from up here are fairly popular for unsurprising reasons. That reason being they are made out of cannons. Cannons are just good. Now, this is where I want to talk about something that has happened to all of these players at some point, but is likely to be Dimmered's fate, because we've seen this a fair few times. But Dimmered is designing his fort here in a way that if these howitzers are destroyed, or should I say, if the foundation node there is damaged, it's going to rip and tear the rest of Dimmered's fort off of its foundations and bring the whole thing down. Mind you, if the howitzers explode, that's kind of inevitable, but I wouldn't really expect the same outcome from Nils. Nils' fort just doesn't have that much weight pressed on it. The stability tech underneath Nils' core should be able to take it, whatever the pressure may be. Compare this to Kazakhstanos here, who absolutely does not have the same kind of leeway to play with, but does manage to get double howitzers slammed out and dealing damage. Very effective.
This EMP shutting down the doors is so funny.
It is. It's also effective. But the 20mm coming out from Julian and Nils are doing some real damage. It's not enough to hit anything internal. It's not enough to really break anything. But it does cause a pretty nasty repair bill. And that is a good start for Team Game Time. Where, honestly, the double howitzer from Team Kazakhstanos is just kind of really good. It is actually just setting Nils back a lot. Nils is just not prepared for it. The build order from Dimmered has been on points, and the commander usage has been perfect. And it got the double howitzer on the board well before Julian and Nils were prepared to handle it. And it added a lot of momentum into Team Kazakhstanos that I think Game Time was not prepared to handle.
I like the small touches, like how Dimmered left those turbines you were concerned about earlier, right up until their raid use active, so you could just sell them at that point to get the resources to build stuff.
Yes. Oof. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Nils just had a disconnect between his lower foundation nodes and the rest of his fort. But his fort didn't collapse. This is because Nils' fort is designed in such a way that if that disconnect happens, it doesn't bring the whole fort down with it. Of course, this means that he cannot build such large, girthy defenses as his opponent, Dimmered. So if, for whatever reason, Team Game Time is able to break the howitzer stack, then I would expect Dimmered to just completely collapse. Then again, if the howitzer stack goes away, there's not a whole lot of... I mean, what's life if you don't have anything left, you know? So, it's definitely a very planned play. It's a decision, and it's a bold decision, but it's a decision nonetheless. Oof. And now here comes another commander active ability, which means more scatter shot, More 20mm, and honestly, Mega Red can't keep it up. Like, yeah, he's got armor to survive, but the amount of digging happening every volley is far and away more than Mega Red can handle. He's trying to rely on energy shields to keep himself intact, and it has a history of being successful, but that is a rough position to be in. If Julian is able to oh no, he's actually doing it. I was about to say, if Julian is able to retask his weapons to aim downwards at Dimmered, I think Game Time just wipes Kazakhstanos from this map. And we might be seeing exactly that here.
Ooh, he's being so aggressive about it as well.
Yes. Straight up removing all of the armor on his weapons. He has exposed 20mm here. Does he get a fourth shot? Nah, that fourth shot can't make it there. Dimmered, with all that girthy armor, is able to tank the hits from the 20mm, but it's pretty close. It's not the world he wants to live in. Julian, largely ignored here, is actually just kind of leaving his weapons exposed, and he's not being punished for it. But Dimmered's in a rough position. Now, taking hit after hit. It's exposed howitzer? Yes, and it all comes crumbling down. And there it goes. Weakness detected and exploited. Dimmered goes down. Game Time is just rolling over Kazakhstanos here. That's, oh dear, oh my. That's so many 20mm. It's up to 6 20mm from Julian alone. And frankly, I mean, we've said it before, 20mm are the most damaging of all the cannons. They just have the most damage output.
Yeah, Julian has just chosen violence.
Oh my god. That never gets old. Just the sound effects and the sheer destructive power is insane. Ladies and gentlemen,
the Daka is real.
The Daka is truly real. And I think Game Time has it here. Like, the only reason 20mm are not more popular is because they splash around. They're so imprecise. They splash around so much that it makes defending against them relatively easy. It makes them relatively inefficient weapons. But with Scattershot active, changing that around to making them consistent and predictable, and honestly gives them the ability to penetrate things. I mean, it takes them from being just kind of the most damage available but unable to apply it into it's just death. It's just all death everywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, Team Game Time wins it once again, bringing them to 4 points. And
I
making
apologize to
a
whoever it
clean
was,
sweep here.
but I've heard the Scattershot ability convert 20mm from a rake to a shovel.
And it worked. I did not expect a clean sweep here. That's wild.
Yeah, me neither.
Julian just doing more damage than every other player combined. Cleaning house and destroying everything. That's just so much damage output. Let's see the replays on that one. Wow. Just digging through the howitzers. And it all comes crumbling down. The Energy Shields tried so hard, and you know, they did their job. It just wasn't enough. It's just altogether too much firepower from Team Jametime as they win it and crown themselves the golden first place victors of Season 7 of the Forts Pro League. Well played. Very well played. Shout out once again to the competitors, to Team Kazakhstan was taking second place, and Team 6-7 Aura and Team Nut Power fighting for third, granting third place to Team 6-7 Aura. I will see you guys next time, but for now, have a good night everyone. I'll see you guys later.